Leo, let me ask you something up front. Have you ever felt a strange nudge, like something unseen is urging you to move, to shift, to leave, but you can't quite explain why? Because if you're watching this video right now, I want you to know it's not random. Something important is about to happen in your life. A moment that may look like a departure, but it's actually a divine invitation to step into something better. Much better. Whatever led you here today, whether it was a sense of restlessness, a dream you couldn't shake, or just that quiet whisper inside that said, "Watch this," I want to affirm, you followed the right sign. The truth is, the universe speaks in quiet cues. And today, it's using this very moment to reach you. To tell you, there is a strange shift coming. One that might feel uncomfortable at first, like you're walking away from something familiar, but it will lead you exactly where you're meant to be. This isn't an exit. It's a passage. Now, I'm not here to sugarcoat things or speak in perfect metaphors. Life can feel heavy. Change can be exhausting. But this is one of those rare moments where the discomfort you're feeling is a signal that your soul is realigning with your true path. You're not breaking down, you're breaking free. In today's reading, we're going to explore exactly what this turning point means for you, Leo, across love, career, finances, your inner world, and even spiritual healing. And no, I'm not speaking in theory. I'm speaking from experience, from sitting with countless souls going through this same energy. What I'll reveal here isn't meant to scare you or mystify you. It's meant to prepare you so that you walk away from this video not just informed, but empowered. You're going to hear me talk about a key moment that requires you to let go. But I want you to remember, walking away doesn't mean losing. It means making space for what God, what source, what divine love has had waiting for you all along. And if your heart's been aching a little more than usual lately, if you've been carrying a weight that doesn't quite make sense, or you keep hearing the same message over and over from different places, this is that message again. Only louder. You see, healing isn't always soft. Sometimes it's sharp. Sometimes it looks like a goodbye. But every ending in the hands of the divine leads to an upgrade in disguise. So stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you may not only see what's coming, you may finally understand why it's coming. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for being here. Every single comment you leave, every time you like or subscribe, every moment you spend with this channel, deepens the connection between us and strengthens this sacred space we're building together here at Eternal Mindfulness. Your presence is a blessing. Your energy is felt. Now tell me, Leo, what did you feel in your gut that brought you here today? Was it something you can't name, but couldn't ignore? Go ahead, leave a comment below to confirm that this message found you at the right time. I want to hear from you. Because trust me, you're going to want to stay with me until the very last second of this video. What the universe is about to reveal for you, it's nothing short of extraordinary. Let's begin. Sometimes, Leo, the most powerful moments in our lives don't come with bright lights or applause. They come with silence, disruption, and a strange sense that something is shifting under our feet. If you felt that lately, like your routines no longer feel right, or you're being pulled in a direction you didn't expect, sure, not imagining it. You're standing at a doorway. And this part of the journey is about learning to trust what you cannot yet see. The cards that came up, the Tower, the Fool, and Six of Swords, aren't here to scare you. They're not signs of doom. They're a language. A spiritual language. A way your soul is trying to tell you, it's time to move. The tower rarely arrives when things are stable. It comes when you've outgrown your container, when the identity, job, relationship, or even belief you've been clinging to no longer fits the truth of who you're becoming. And that truth? It's starting to push against the walls of your comfort zone. The Fool shows up next not as a joke, but as your mirror. It's that part of you that remembers how to leap before every condition is perfect. It's the energy of rebirth, of not knowing exactly where the road leads, but going anyway. You might be scared. But somewhere deep down, you're also ready. And then there's the Six of Swords, the crossing over. This card speaks of transition. It's that inner knowing that staying where you are isn't an option anymore, even if you're not totally clear on where you're going. This is not a loud transformation, it's a quiet departure. You may leave emotionally before you leave physically. You may say goodbye to an old mindset before you ever speak it aloud. But the shift is real. And it's happening now. Astrologically, this energy is mirrored perfectly. The sun, your ruling light, is traveling through areas of your chart that rule death and rebirth, isolation and healing. Whether it's the 8th house or the 12th, you're being invited to let something die, not in a tragic sense, but in the way a snake sheds its skin or a tree lets go of its leaves. It's not an end. It's a beginning that needs space. And with Uranus stirring things up, sudden clarity, surprises, endings you didn't plan but might have needed all along, it's no wonder your heart is feeling unsteady. But unsteadiness is not weakness. It's recalibration. When life interrupts your plans, it's often because something better is trying to reach you, but your hands are still full. The chaos isn't personal. It's a clearing. I want to tell you something you might need to hear right now. Just because something used to feel right doesn't mean it still does. And just because you've poured time, energy, or love into something doesn't mean you're required to stay when it starts to drain you. You're allowed to change. You're allowed to leave. You're allowed to outgrow. This isn't about failure. It's about alignment. Think of it this way: what if everything that's falling apart is just everything that's not meant to come with you into the next chapter? What if this unraveling is actually grace? It takes courage to walk through a door you can't fully see. But you don't have to have it all figured out. You just need enough trust to take the first step. If this is resonating with you, if you've been feeling the edge of something but didn't know how to name it, consider this your confirmation. Let me know in the comments if this feels like your energy right now, if you've been feeling that quiet pull away from what you once clung to. I want to hear your story. I want you to speak it out loud. Because sometimes, saying, "I'm ready," is the only spell you need to cast. When life shifts suddenly and without warning, it often catches us off guard, not because we were unprepared, but because we were holding on to a version of reality that had already expired. Leo, something unexpected is about to unfold. Something not in the script you thought you were following. You may find yourself receiving a message, an invitation, or even a subtle nudge from life that urges you to leave something behind, a place, a relationship, a job, a chapter you thought would last longer. And it's not going to ask for your permission. It will simply appear, unannounced, and change the direction of your momentum. This isn't punishment. It's protection. It's divine interruption disguised as chaos. And for someone with your fire, your radiant Leo heart, this kind of moment isn't meant to defeat you. It's meant to awaken you. Because the truth is, we don't always leave when we're ready. We leave when staying costs us more than we realize. And sometimes, it's not about what we lose when we walk away, it's about what we make space for when we do. There's an emotional intelligence in the cards you've pulled here. The Eight of Cups isn't about resentment or regret. It's about discernment. It's about realizing that even though something once felt right, it may no longer be aligned with where your soul is headed. This card speaks to the quiet decision to honor your own growth, to walk away without bitterness, and to trust that walking away is not failure, it's evolution. When the star follows, it tells a deeper story. That yes, the departure might feel uncertain at first. But there's something beautiful waiting on the other side of this. A light at the end of the emotional tunnel. A blessing that can only reach you once your hands are no longer holding what's too heavy. The star doesn't scream for attention. It simply reminds you that hope isn't lost, it's just waiting for you to look up again. Astrologically, this shift is aligned with a broader movement in your chart. When transiting Uranus makes contact with your personal planets, or when the Sun highlights the 8th or 12th house, as it may be doing now, it shakes loose what's been stuck. It removes the illusion of permanence. And even though this kind of cosmic push can feel like you're being stripped of control, what's really happening is that you're being shown where you've been clinging to something that was never yours to carry forever. Change rarely feels gentle in the moment, but that doesn't mean it isn't sacred. You're not being pushed away from something, you're being pulled towards something that finally fits. The job that lights you up instead of drains you. The relationship that supports who you're becoming instead of holding on to who you were. The version of yourself that no longer needs to shrink in order to belong. If you're feeling this shift, if you've been sensing that something is ending or that life is rerouting, you didn't run from it. Pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, what's no longer nourishing me? What am I afraid to walk away from, not because I love it, but because I've gotten used to it? These questions aren't easy. But they're the doorway to freedom. You don't need to rush this process. You only need to say yes to clarity. You only need to believe that this unexpected twist might just be the exact turning point you didn't know you needed. If something in this message resonated with you, if you've been waiting for a sign, that it's okay to let Godhen take this as your confirmation. And if you feel it in your gut, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments. Let your voice be heard. Let the shift begin. After the leaving comes the opening. That's how life works, Leo, especially for someone born under the sign of fire, drive, and vision. When one door closes, another doesn't just open, it flings itself wide, often in the very direction you least expected. And in this case, what lies behind that new door may be something you've quietly longed for but didn't believe you could actually receive. We're talking about more than just a shift in schedule or an extra dollar in your account. This is about a real, tangible upgrade, a new trajectory in your financial world and your career path that not only supports your future but finally honors your true worth. If you've recently walked away from something that drained you, a job, a partnership, even an outdated version of your goals, then you've made space for something bigger to step in. And it's on its way. I don't say that lightly. I've seen this pattern unfold countless times, both in charts and in real life. You think you're losing stability, but what you're really doing is realigning with what was always meant for you. The energy right now is lining up in a way that makes bold moves more rewarding. The Ace of Pentacles is one of the most promising cards in the deck when it comes to finances and material beginnings. It's the symbol of a seed with real potential, not a fantasy, but something you can build on. Think of this moment as planting the foundation for a new chapter that's sustainable, nourishing, and profitable. But like any seed, it needs attention. It needs belief. Then there's the Suna card ruled by your sign, Leo. When this card shows up, it's personal. It's not just about success. It's about your success. It's a reminder that when you step into your light, the world responds. It sees you, finally. You're not invisible anymore. You're not stuck behind the scenes doing all the work and getting none of the recognition. The spotlight is coming back to you, but in a new way, a more purposeful way. And finally, the Judgment card tells us this moment isn't random. It's a karmic checkpoint. The choices you've made, the courage you've shown, the times you acted with integrity even when no one was watching, theory all coming full circle now. Judgment doesn't mean judgment in the negative sense. It means clarity, it means rising up, it means being called into alignment with your highest timeline. The life you were meant to live, not the one you settled for. What's fascinating about the timing of all this is that numerologically, you're in a cycle influenced by the number 11, a master number that brings both awakening and responsibility. This is not the time to play small or to keep playing the same game just because you know the rules. This is the moment to listen to your inner authority, to trust your deeper vision, and to take the leap even if your legs are shaking. You don't need to know the whole plan. You only need to know that staying stuck is no longer an option. If something has been stirring inside you, a quiet urge to ask for more, to apply for that role, to raise your prices, to pitch that idea, this is your sign. This is your window. Let it open fully. And if you've been waiting for permission, here it is. You are allowed to want more. You are allowed to leave behind what no longer values your contribution. You are allowed to step into a version of success that is defined by you, not by anyone else's timeline or expectations. Now would be a perfect time to pause and reflect. What opportunity have I been afraid to pursue? What would I go after if I trusted that the universe was already making room for it? If this message stirred something in you, say so in the comments. Let this be the moment you say yes, not just to a new job or a paycheck, but to a future that finally feels like yours. Love doesn't always enter with grand gestures or dramatic declarations. Sometimes, it begins with a quiet presence. A glance that lingers just a moment longer. A feeling that someone is near, not physically, maybe not even visibly, but in some subtle way that bypasses logic and goes straight to your soul. And Leo, if you've been sensing that lately, you're not making it up. Someone may very well be watching over you, not in the sense of surveillance, but in the tender, spiritual way that only deep soul connections can explain. In this part of your journey, love isn't just a tapas, it's a teacher. Whether you're partnered or walking your path solo, there's something about connection that wants to evolve in your life. If you're currently with someone, you may have felt tension recently, walls where there used to be warmth, silence where there used to be spark. But that doesn't mean the relationship is broken. It may simply be asking to grow. To breathe. To let go of what no longer fits so that something more true, more whole, can rise in its place. The energetic fog is lifting. And with it, the barriers between you and your partner may soften, making space for a more honest, healing love. And if you're not in a relationship right now, if your evenings have been quieter, your dreams a little more vivid, your heart more introspective, this next chapter might hold a surprise. The Knight of Cups, the Lovers, and the Ace of Cups are not just romantic symbols. They're invitations. Invitations to remember that love is not a reward for perfection. It's a recognition of resonance. You don't have to chase it. When the time is right, it moves toward you. And it may already be doing just that. Maybe you've caught yourself thinking about someone unexpectedly. Or felt the presence of a familiar energy in a completely unfamiliar face. That's how soul-level connections often show up. They don't knock loudly. They whisper. They mirror back to you the parts of yourself you're finally ready to love. If someone from your past has crossed your mind more than usual, or you've dreamt of a name you haven't spoken aloud in years, trust that your intuition may be picking up on something deeper. The energy of love coming in now is not superficial. It doesn't want your image, it wants your essence. And it will feel different. Calmer, safer, more aligned. Like the missing piece wasn't about finding another persona, it was about becoming the version of yourself who could actually receive the kind of love you once thought was too much to ask for. Colors can be helpful tools in this phase, not just aesthetically but energetically. Ruby red holds the frequency of release, burning away what's no longer aligned with your heart. Think of it as a ritual flame, helping you surrender expectations, old stories, and emotional weight. Milk white, on the other hand, invites purity, not naivety, but clarity. It's the energy of openness, of receiving without suspicion, of saying, I'm ready to feel deeply again, without apology. So if something in you has been stirring, if you've been feeling a pull that your mind can't quite define, you're not alone. And you're not imagining it. You're being prepared not for a fairy tale, but for a real, raw, transformative experience of love. The kind that speaks to your soul before it ever touches your skin. Take a moment and ask yourself, who or what am I finally ready to receive with an open heart? And if you feel brave enough, share that with me in the comments. Speak it into existence. Because sometimes, naming what you're ready for is the exact act that makes it real. Growth doesn't always feel like light pouring through the window. Sometimes it feels like silence. Like space opening up around you. Like not needing to respond to things that used to set your whole nervous system on fire. Leo, what's happening in this phase of your life isn't loud, it's deep. And it's not meant to impress others. It's meant to liberate you. After everything that's shifted, after the surprise, the leaving, the invitation, and the love, you're standing in a space that used to be filled with who you once were. And now, there's just enough emptiness to choose again. To choose you. That's not just a healing moment. That's a turning point. Because once you taste what it feels like to no longer be run by old patterns, it's very hard to go back to pretending that chaos is your home. You're going to find yourself more selective with the people you let close, not because you're guarded, but because you're grounded. You'll begin to notice who drains you and who restores you. Who you have to explain your worth to, and who already knows it. And it's okay if that changes your circle. Sometimes, self-respect will do that. It doesn't mean you're better than anyone else. It just means you've remembered you belong to yourself first. Energy is everything. The moment you stop feeding the things that deplete you, your system starts to heal. You may not even notice it right away. But you'll begin to sleep deeper. Laugh easier. Breathe softer. You'll say less, and mean more. That's the kind of peace that doesn't announce itself, but it changes everything it touches. That's the light inside you coming back online. For Leo, self-expression is survival. But for a long time, you may have confused performance with power. Now, you're learning the quiet kind of confidence. The kind that doesn't need applause. The kind that doesn't argue to be seen. You're not showing off anymore. You're showing up. And in that shift, your radiance is becoming something no one can take away. This is what internal transformation looks like. Not a makeover, but a remembering. A reconnection to who you were before life taught you to shrink. You're no longer trying to fit into containers that were never built for you. You're building your own shape. Your own rhythm. Your own truth. And it may not be flashy. But it's real. And it's yours. This is why leaving was necessary. Not as punishment, but as purification. Because until you let go of the version of yourself that was built to survive, you can't step into the version of yourself that was born to thrive. The light of Leo was never meant to stay small. It was meant to lead, to inspire, to burn. But that flame has to come from within. From alignment, not performance. So if you've noticed that certain things just don't move you like they used to, that's not boredom. That's evolution. If you felt like you're being pulled away from the noise and back towards something simpler, more real, more quiet, that's not regression. That's return. To your essence. To your clarity. To your actual power. You've done the work. You've walked through the fire. And now, you get to decide what's worth your energy moving forward. Don't waste this clarity. Use it. Let it be the filter through which you choose who, what, and how you love from here on out. If you feel this shift in your bones, if something inside you has softened, matured, or realigned, share it in the comments. Let this be your declaration. That you're not just stepping into a new chapter. You're stepping into yourself. Fully, finally, and without apology. Leo, sometimes the most important moment in your life won't be the one where you receive the trophy or the applause. It will be the quiet, sacred second when you decide to take a different path. A path that might look uncertain to the outside world, but feels deeply, unmistakably right to your heart. That moment of trust in your own inner knowing, that's what changes everything. So I ask you now. Are you ready to walk away from what no longer reflects who you are? Are you willing to leave behind the familiar noise to embrace the voice inside you that's been whispering, "There's more for you"? You don't need all the answers right now. You don't need a guarantee. You only need a spark of willingness to believe that your future can feel as expansive as your soul was always meant to be. And that belief, it starts small. It starts here. With the choice to release. The choice to open. The choice to walk with intention instead of fear. Every part of this journey, every shift, every departure, every reconnection has been leading you to this new beginning. What you've just walked through wasn't random. It was a clearing. A realignment. A deep reset for your energy, your direction, your sense of worth. And now, the universe is asking you to respond, not by rushing, not by fixing, but by showing up as the version of you who knows they're ready. You are not just the sum of what you've been through. You are the light you carry forward because of it. So what will you do with that light? Who will you share it with? What new version of your life will you allow to take shape from here? Let this be the moment where you reclaim your role as the author of your story. Not the character stuck in someone else's plotline, but the soul who dares to say, "This is who I am now, and this is what I choose." I invite you to take a breath, Leo, and ask yourself gently but honestly, what am I ready to release? What future am I brave enough to step into now? If these questions stir something in you, share it with me in the comments. Say it aloud. Speak it into motion. Let this space be where your transformation begins, not just in thought, but in action. And if this video supported you, inspired you, or reminded you of your own power, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can stay connected with our community here at Eternal Mindfulness. Every interaction from you helps us bring these soul-guided messages to more people who need them. And I truly, deeply thank you for being here. Your journey is sacred. Your light matters. And the next chapter is waiting for your permission to begin. So tell me, what are you ready to leave behind? And more importantly, what are you finally ready to receive?